Hello, good evening. Discussing about uh, research and publication ethics. Research ethics provides researchers with the guidelines to conduct their research responsibility. Responsibly. Research ethics provides researchers with the guidelines to conduct their research responsibly. Furthermore, research ethics committee monitor and educate researchers to ensure that high ethical standards are kept throughout the research process. Research ethics provides guidelines for responsible conduct of research. It educates and monitors researchers conducting the research to ensure high ethical standard. Research ethics is the guidelines for researcher to conduct research responsibly. And also there is the research ethics committees who monitor and educates researchers to ensure that high ethical standards to keep through the research process. Uh, Guidelines responsible to conduct research. It also educates monitors researchers and conducting the research to ensure high ethical standards. It is generally defined as the generally defined as the set of principles that distinguish between acceptable and unacceptable behaviors or way of conducting a task. Ethics is the branch on study dealing with what is the proper course of action for man. It answers the questions, what do I do? And it is the study of right and wrong in human endeavors. At a more fundamental level, it is the okay, at a more fundamental level, it is the methods by which categorize our values and pursue them. Uh, do we pursue our own happiness or do we sacrifice ourselves to the greater cause? Is that foundation of ethics based on the Bible or on the way of nature of man himself or neither? Ethics is important. Ethics, why ethics is important? Ethics is the requirement for human lives. It it is our means of deciding a course of action without in our action would be random and aimless, and there would be no way to work towards a goal because there would be the way of pick between a limitless number of goals. Even the ethical standard, we may be unable to pursue the goals with the possibility of success. To the degree which a rational ethical standard is taken, we are able to correctly organize our goals and actions to accomplish our most important values. Any flaw in our ethics will reduce our ability to be successful in endeavors. Okay, at the fundamental level, it is the methods by which the categorize our value and pursue them. Do we pursue our own happiness or do we sacrifice ourselves to greater cause? Is that foundation of ethics uh, based on the Bible, Gita, and Tripitaka, or on the way of the nature of the man himself or neither? Do we the pursue of the happiness? Do we sacrifice ourselves a greater cause? Is that foundation of it is based on our uh, Bible, Gita, and Tripitaka, and Quran on that way nature of the man himself or nature. Why ethics is important? Ethics is the requirement for human lives. It is our means of deciding a course of the action without is our actions would be random and aimless. And there would be no way to work towards a goal because there would be no way to pick up between a limitless number of goals. Even with an ethical standard, we may be unable to pursue our goals with responsibly or success to the degree of which a rational ethical standard is taken. We are able to correctly organize our goals and actions to accomplish our most important values, and flaw in our ethics will reduce our ability to be successful in our endeavors. Key elements of ethics, a proper foundation of ethics requires the standards value to which all the goals and actions can be compared to. The standard is our own lives and the happiness which makes them livable. This is our ultimate standard of value, the goal in which an ethical man must always aim. It is arrived at by an examination of man's nature and recognizing his peculiar needs. A system of ethics must further consist of only emergency situation, but the day to day choice we make constantly. It must include our relations to others and recognize their importance not only to our physical survival but to our well-being and happiness. It must recognize that our lives are an end in themselves and that sacrifice is not only not necessary but destructive. Ethics or moral philosophy, a branch of the philosophy that involves systematizing the defending and recommending the concept of rights and the wrong behaviors. The field of ethics, along with the aesthetics concerns, matters of the value, and thus comprise the branch of the philosophy called axiology. It seeks to resolve the questions of the human morality by defining concepts as good and evil, right and wrong, virtue and vice, justice and crime. As a field of intellectual inquiry, moral philosophy also is related to the fields of moral psychology, descriptive ethics, and value theory. Three major areas studied in the three major areas study recognized today here. Meta-ethics concerns the theoretical meaning of reference, moral propositions, and how their truths, values can be determined. Meta-ethics. Normative ethics concerning the practical means of determining a moral course of action. Applied ethics concerning what the person is obligated or permitted to do in a specific situation or particular domain of action. There are three kinds of ethics: meta-ethics, it is the theoretical meaning and referencing on the moral proposition, how their truth values can be determined. Meta-ethics and normative ethics concerning the practical means determine the moral course of action. Applied ethics concerning that person obligated or permitted to do specific situation or particular domain action. So there are three kinds of ethics: meta-ethics, normative ethics, and applied ethics. Meta-ethics concerning to theoretical meaning, normative ethics concerning the practical means of determining moral course of action, and applied ethics concerning to obligated or permitted. What is the politics? Politics is also ethics applied to a group of people. Why is the important? Politics tells you what how a society must be set up and how one should act within a society, except for hermits there comes up a load. What is the rationale of politics? The requirements for the political system is that the individuals within that system are allowed to fully function according to their nature. If that's not the case, they will either rebel, as is the case Russia, or the system will eventually collapse, as in the communist Russia. The requirement for the political system is that the individual with that system is are allowed to fully function according to the uh, reason of man's crime. And survival, man's survival or human beings cannot survive in an environment where the reason is ineffective and will thrive or starve to the degree in proportion the effectiveness of reason. This means that the prime goal of a political system must be the preservation and enabling of the faculty of reason. Reason does not function under the coercion. A man can be forced to act at the point of the gun, but cannot be forced to think. A man can be forced to act on the point of the gun, but cannot be forced to think. Likewise, in an environment where the might makes right, reason cannot function because the fruits of the rationality cannot be enjoyed. A moral political system must can coercion. One political system must ban coercion and or put another way, a moral political system must ban the initiation of force since retaliatory force is both just and necessary. This means there must be some way to keep one person from killing, threatening, or robbing another. This is the accomplished by destroying on government of monopoly on retaliatory force and objectifying the laws. What is the aesthetics? Aesthetics is the study of the art. It includes the what the art consists of as well as the purpose behind it. Does art consist of the music, literature, and painting, or does it include a very good engineering solution or beautiful sunset? These are the questions that aimed at it aesthetics. It also studies the methods of evaluating art and allows the judgment of the art is the art in the eye of the beholder. Does anything that appeals to you fit under the umbrella of the art, or does it have a specific nature? Does it accomplish a goal? Why aesthetics is important? Art has existed through all of the recorded human history. It is the unique to humans because of our unique form of the thinking. Its importance is based on this nature, specifically man's ability to abstract. Art is the little understood tool a man of the bring meaning to abstract concept. Aesthetics is important because it deals into the reason why art has always existed, the burning need of the mankind through the eyes of the sea world in the different clear way. It further evaluates art by the standard of the human life and whether it accomplishes the job of the satisfying man's intellectual needs or whether it tends to hurt or make worse those needs. Key elements of aesthetics art is the selective recreation of the reality. Its purpose is the concretized abstraction of the bring idea or emotion within the grasp of the observer. It is the selective recreation within the selection process depending on the value of judgment of the creator. This value of judgment can be observed and evaluated via the fields of ethics. Ethics is the philosophical study. Morality, it is one of the main branches of the philosophy, which correspond to traditional division and philosophy, formal, natural, and moral philosophy. Meaning of ethics, the way of ethics. The way of ethics, word ethics is derived from the Greek word ethos, which means that character or conduct. Ethics is also called moral philosophy or philosophical thinking about the morality. This morality has been further elaborated on action behavior which is concerned with good or evil, or particular tradition, groups, or the individual. The term moral and ethical is often used for equivalent to right or good. A nature of the ethics is that science which is concerned with the moral behavior or right or wrong and good or evil of the human behavior. Nature of ethics is a normative science. Ethics is a science of character. Ethics is not a practical science. Ethics is not an art. Ethics is a normative science. Ethics is a science of character. Ethics is not a practical science. It is not an art. Scope of ethics, moral sphere, social sphere, religious sphere, political sphere. Scope ethics, moral, social, religious, political. Morality and informal public system analyzing to all rational person governing behavior that affects other having the lessening of evil or harm as its goal. It includes what is the commonly known as the moral rules, moral ideas, and moral virtue. General summary of some ethical principles. First of all, honesty. Honesty before data results methods and procedure and publication status do not fabricate, falsify, or misrepresent data. One of the key of the research integrity is the honesty. Researchers must be truthful about their methods, data, and results. This means avoiding any form of the fabrication, falsification, or manipulation of data, as well as avoiding the plagiarism. Objectivity strive to avoid the bias and experimentally design data analysis, data interpretation, peer review, personal decisions, and grant writing, expert testimony, and other aspects of the research. Objectivity is scientific research means proceeding without being influenced by any bias or personal opinions. Bias is an unfair preference for someone or something. Scientists start to reduce the bias and subjectivity in their work, which is an outlook guided by their personal judgment and beliefs. Integrity keep your promise and agreements, act with sincerity, strive for consistency of throughout an action. Research integrity means conducting research in such a way that allows others to have confidence and trust in the methods and the findings of the research. It relates both to the scientific integrity of conducted research and to the professional integrity of the researcher. Carefulness, avoid the careless errors and negligence. Carefully and critically examine your own work and the work of your peers. Keep good records of research activities. Avoid the careless errors and negligence. Carefully and critically examine your own work and the work of your peers. Keep good records, research activities, such as data collection, research design, and correspondence with agencies or journals. Openness, share the data, result, ideas, tools, and resource open to the criticism and new ideas. Respect for intellectual property, honors patents and copyrights and other forms of the intellectual property. Do not use the unpublished data, matters, or results without permission. Give credit where credit is due and never prioritize. Honor patents and copyrights and the forms of intellectual property. Do not unpublished data matters without permission. Give credit where it is never prioritized. Confidentiality, protect the confidential communications as per papers and grants submitted for the publication, personal records, and trade for military secrets and patent records. Confidentiality, communication as papers and grants submitted for publication, personal records, trade, and military secrets and patent records. Confidentiality in the context of human resource also refers to the investigators' agreement with participants when applicable. That is true, the participants inform the consent about how their identifiable private information will be handled, managed, and disseminated. Responsible for publication, publish in order to advance research and scholarship, not to advance just your own career. Avoid wasteful and duplicate publication. Responsible publication in research ethics refers to the ethical principle and practice that guides for process and publishing research findings in the academic journals, books, and other forms of communication. Respect for colleagues, respect your colleagues to treat them. Social responsibility strive to promote social good and prevent or mitigate social harms through research, public education, and advocacy. This responsibility include, but are not limited to rigorous study design, accurate data collection, secure backup, data storage, accurate and comprehensive data analysis, and reporting and responsible or fair allocation of credit. Non-discrimination, avoid discrimination against the colleagues or students on the basis of sex, race, ethnicity, or other factors that are not related to their scientific competence and integrity. Avoid the discrimination against the colleagues or students on the basis of sex, race, ethnicity, or factors related to scientific competence integrity. Competence, maintain and improve your professional competence and expertise through lifelong education and harming take steps to promote competence in resource as whole. Resource competence is the complex, stable multiformation in the psyche of the individual, which is acquired during a specially crafted learning process, which is allows her to know objective reality through scientific instruments and have more or less reliable information about it. Legality, know in way relevant laws and institutional and government policies. Animal care show proper respect and care for the animals who are using them in research. Do not conduct unnecessary or poorly designed animal experiments. Animal care means a facility where animals or household pets are groomed and clipped, battered, boarded, and similar non-medical care is provided. Proper respect to care animals and using the resource that do not conduct unnecessary or poorly designed animal experiments. Human subjects protection when the conducting the research on the human subject minimize harms and risk and maximize benefits, respect human dignity, privacy, and autonomy. Protection is the collective term of the federal, state, and university policies, procedures, and ethical consideration that protect the rights and the welfare of the human beings who participate in the research as the subject of the research. Authorship to be named as the author or resource in meritorious. Authorship signifies that an individual has made a significant contribution to the work and is accountable for it. It also carries significant value for the researcher. It therefore important that authorship is attributed accurately and responsibly. A well-known criteria and authorship states that author must have contributed sustainability works, conception or design, data acquisition, always interpretation, intellectual content, develop or critical reviews, final version approval and integrity, ensuring that issues related to the accuracy. Need to make informed and to take okay, need to take informed and voluntary consent from the participants. Need to maintain the confidentiality information share. Need to maintain the anonymity, committing a guarantee of the beneficence or no harm to participants. Need to maintain the accuracy of the research, design, sampling, data collection, analysis, and reporting. Need to maintain the originality of the writing and respect various writers, researchers, and organizations for using their reference. Basic research misconducts. Research misconduct means fabrication, falsification, plagiarism is the proposing, performing, or reviewing the research on or in the reporting research result. Fabrication is making up data results and recording or the reporting them. Notice that three the three cardinal sins on of research conduct. FFP, that is the falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism, are the primary concerns in the avoiding the research misconduct. Any divergence from these norms undermines the integrity of the resource for the individual lab, university, corporation, and the field as a whole. Falsification is the changing or omission of research results to support claims, hypotheses. Other data etc. falsification can include the manipulation of research instrumentation, materials or process, manipulation of image or representation in a manner that distorts the data can be considered falsification. Falsification is the manipulating the resource materials, equipment, or process, or changing or omitting data or results such that the resource is not accurately represented in the resource record. Fabrication. Fabrication is the construction or the addition of data, observation, or characterization that never occurred in the gathering of data or running of experiments. Fabrication can occur when filling out the rest of experiments runs. For example, claims about results need to be made on complete data sets normally assumed, where claims made based on the incomplete or assumed results in the form of fabrication. Fabrication is using process to create component parts that can be used to make a product or structure, as well as that process of constructing an item from standardized parts. Manufacturing, meanwhile, is the processing of raw materials into finished product that can be sold to the consumer. Plagiarism is perhaps the most common Plagiarism is perhaps the most common forms of the research misconduct. Researcher must be aware to cite all resources and take careful notes. Using or representing the work of the others as your own work constitute plagiarism, even if committed unintentionally. Presenting work or ideas from another source as your own without consent of the original author by incorporating it into your work without full acknowledgement. When reviewing the privileged information, such as when reviewing the grants or journals articles, manuscripts for peer review researchers, must recognize that what they are reading cannot be used for their own purpose because it cannot be cited until the work is published or publicly available. Okay, I have uh, presented some discussion about research research publication ethics. Publication ethics is the guidelines to conduct the research responsibly. Uh, uh, it educates monitors researchers conducting research to ensure high ethical standards. Uh, Ethics is the important. Ethics required human lives. And these are some key elements of ethics. Ethics or moral philosophy. The common ethics branch of philosophy that concept right and wrong behavior. Ethics also along with also aesthetics, that is the value of the ecology. Uh, Meaning of ethics it is from ethos means character to conduct. Nature of ethics, normative science, ethics science of character, ethics practical science, ethics art. Normative science, science of character, practical science, art. Moral sphere, social, religion, and political spheres. There are general summary of the some ethical principles: honesty, objectivity, integrity, carefulness, openness, confidentiality, responsible for publication, respect for colleagues, non-discrimination, competence, legality, animal care, human subjective protection, authorship, and also some basic research misconducts. The FFP, falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism. Okay, thanks for watching. Uh, Falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism. Falsification is the omission or changing data. Fabrication, construction or addition data. Plagiarism is perhaps the common research. Uh, Presenting work ideas from another source or without consent of original author or incorporating into your work without acknowledgement. In source, when reviewing the grants in journal, manuscript peer review researchers must recognize where reading can be the purpose because can recite it with work published publicly available. Okay, thanks for watching. Thank you for your lesson. That is now. Bye bye. See you again.